Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and with all the things that's going on, and I've been getting a lot of new subscribers. So, if you're one of those new subscribers, welcome. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with us for a little bit today. If you're not new here, then share this out with somebody that you know that's getting into preparedness, so that way I can do my best to try and help them get a little bit better prepared. Now, getting into preparedness, it can be daunting, with all the different things going on. You feel like you're a little bit left behind. Like you suddenly wake up and realize how unprepared you are if something was to happen. And so people start going into social media and different places searching for answers. And then you start coming across all the different slang and jargon and all the little prepper terms and things like that. And then, instead of getting a direct answer, now you have to go look up terminology just to even figure out if you're in the right place. Well, when you get things like OPSEC and different types of home security and all that sort of stuff. Well, what we're going to talk about today, and I've been asked by a few of you subscribers, is situational awareness. Now, what is situational awareness? Well, it is the situation that you are in. Are you aware? Are you conscious of what is going on around you? And to give you a better example, let me walk you through a little bit of my day to day, just kind of what I normally do. And so for me, I get up in the morning and I know that my place is secure. And so I don't have to be as aware of my surroundings as the boogeyman's not going to jump out and get me. Now, I do have a 4-year-old, so I am very aware of various Legos or whatnot on the floor. I don't just get up and start rubbing my eyeballs and start tromping down through because you make that mistake once, and I don't know, it might be a toss up between Lego and landmine. I'm not entirely sure which one's worse. Probably this one, but if you step on a Lego, you kind of know, especially at 2 a.m. So getting back to it is you go through the house, okay? Now, you are situationally aware. So as you go through, is this something look out of place? Obviously you'll check the things like if there's broken glass or the door standing wide open or something like that. But, is there something that's just out of place? It's not where it's normally at. It's not where you left it the night before. Different things like that. Now, for me, I'm going to get ready and I'm going to go out of the house. First, you grab all of your pocket items and all of your EDC things that you're going to do, which EDC is your everyday carry items, just so I can explain it to you. And then before I go, I usually stand by my front door to do a pocket check. And while I do, I'm listening to make sure that there's no movement, no sound or anything outside the door, that if I'm going to just pop that door, I am not going to be surprised, or whatever else is out there isn't going to, get equally as surprised as I am. And I'm not talking about just two-legged, I'm talking about four-legged. And so as I do that, I kind of multitask. I touch, make sure keys, phone, all that. Do I have everything that I need? And then I take and I open my door. When I open my door, I am in a kind of a security posture of a stance to where as I open it, if I need to, I can close it quickly. And if somebody happens to be standing there waiting, my foot is usually in front of the door, that if they shove it, it's going to hit my foot, thus stopping it and giving me more of a time to react. Also, of where things are on my body, everything is strategically placed. Now, where I'm at, I don't usually have to worry about that, but it's a good habit for me to get into, so that's why I do it. Now, as I step outside of my house, I immediately do my gaze. I make sure that in my peripheral, from where I'm at, that everything looks as it should be. And then I take my walk. And as I go to my car, I make sure that I am situationally aware. I'm taking in the things around me. Did something change? Is something out of place? Does something look odd? As I get to my car, I always approach it from behind because I want to see anything that's messed with. Now, again, where I live, I don't have to worry about it. As I approach from the back, it gives me a chance that I can take and look in my back seat to make sure nothing's there that shouldn't be, come up beside and I can look at it. And then usually what I will do is I park in my garage for the most part. I will back out of the garage, and then because I don't actually run power for mine, so I have to open mine manually. I get out, and as I go to close, I do a walk on the other side of the car. So I get out and I walk on the passenger side. Gives me a chance to check the tires, make sure nobody's messed with anything, nothing's low, make sure, all of my stuff. So I do a 360 around my car. Then once I'm in my car, I do another look around and then I leave. Then you got situationally aware on driving. So when you are driving, is your devices where it needs to be? A lot of people take and they get those really nifty pocket knives, the little folders. I have one. I'm not making fun of them. I carry it as my EDC. That's got the glass breaker and a seatbelt cutter on it. Okay, well, if that's shoved way down into your pocket, if you get into an accident, can you fish it out? Can you get to it? If you have those devices, maybe you don't have it on a folder, maybe you have one of those little hammer things. Where is it? Is it in your trunk? Is it in your glove box? Can you get to it? If your car does 3 rolls and lands on the roof, can you reach it? It's things to think about. Are you situationally aware? You are prepping for it. Again, when you get into prepping, you are preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. You hope that you never have to use it. It's never going to be an issue, but you're prepared just in case. Now, as you drive, we do not tailgate. You do not speed. You don't weave. I know there's a bunch of you probably laughing like, ha ha ha, sure. Okay. But what it does is it takes and makes you a target. And so the less you can take and draw attention to yourself, the better. And so if you're weaving in and out, that causes road rage. If you're flying down through, that gets people starting looking at you. If you are just driving like everybody else, you're gray man, you're blending in. Now when you come up to a stop, you do not pull up. You make sure every time you stop, red light, stop light, doesn't matter, you have an exit. That if something happens, you can turn your wheel and go left, right, whatever. You make sure behind you is good. You always need to be checking your 360. Get out of the habit. Okay. Texting and driving is horrible. Shouldn't do it in the first place. But I see so many people that they do a good job that they leave their phone over here, but the second that they come up to a red light, they're down like this. And you can't see what's around you if your head is down. You need to be situationally aware. Trust me, that tweet or that like, post, whatever short, whatever it is, okay? I'm not good at the lingo of the social medias. It can wait, okay? Trust me. It's posted on the internet, it's there for good. So it can wait until you get home, until you get to a more secure location. It's okay. Now, as you go up, for me, once I pull into a parking lot, I usually strategically park. I make sure that if it's a normal day or a less busy day, then I can park in different areas. But if it's, a really heavy day, sometimes, unless I absolutely need something, if the parking lot's packed, a lot of times I'll find somewhere else to go. I don't absolutely have to have it, you know. But I usually park away. I usually park kind of close to one of the little cart return areas. Not right next to it, but close. Why? Because if I'm getting some items and I'm taking a cart out, one, it's a lot easier. I don't have to walk that far away from my vehicle to return my cart because you should return your cart. Okay? That's a little PSA thing right there. Return your cart. But you should, whenever you go somewhere, be aware. Look at the vehicles around you that you're going to be parking, kind of close to. If you can get away from it, don't park right up front. Don't park right next to another vehicle. Park 2, 3 parking spaces down away from the other people. Be strategic. So that way, one, you absolutely know where you park. Two, it's easy to find because you have to think. You're inside shopping, you do this every Saturday, whatever. You're inside shopping, and all of a sudden something happens, chaos, boom, bang, whatever. You get disoriented, you're turning around, people's running, screaming, there's loud noises, this and that, and you vacate out of the side because that's the closest exit, and you go run through the parking lot, and now you're looking around because you can't find your car. Okay? Think. Okay? Yes, you can just walk out and waltz to your car on a normal day. We're prepping for worst case scenario. And so you need to be aware of it, which brings up the what we just talked about. Do you know your alternative exits? Every commercial building has to have an emergency exit. Do you know where it's at? Now, I get it. You're going to sit there and you're going to be like, well, if I go to my local dollar store, I know it's somewhere in the back. Okay. Can you get to it, though? Where does it lead to? Have you ever drove around the back of the building to see what's back there? What happens if it's just a bunch of broken glass and all sorts of stuff? You going to go trouncing back through there and slip on glass? It's good to scope it out. Take a drive back there, go figure it out. Behind there, is there a place that you can run for cover? Is there a place that, once you get back there, is it, worse off? Are you basically, you're going to run out that back door, it closes behind you, there's no other doors to get to, and now you're boxed off with nothing to hide behind? You might as well just stay in the store, depending on the situation. So again, scope a lot of this stuff out. If you go into a store and it's you're like, wait a second, if something happens, this is bad. Find another store. One of the biggest things that I can answer the question, and other people have said this. This isn't just me. I'm not taking credit for coming up with this saying. If people come up to me and they go, well, going here, if something bad happens, then things will go bad, and it's I'll just be screwed. Don't be where the problem is. Okay, if you scope it out and you look at it and you go, oh man, actually, if something did go bad, it would put me in a really bad area. Okay, pick another store to shop for. Go somewhere else. Can you buy it online? If there's no other store, there's got to be another alternative way. You know, to the point, and I know I'll probably get grief for this. Move. I know that's easier said than done right now. I get it, but if you are in that bad of an area to where you go, well, it doesn't matter, none of the stores are safe, then you're in a very bad area. And if you don't feel safe now, imagine what's going to be when there's pandemonium. It's going to be 10 times worse. You're definitely not going to be safe. You probably should vacate if possible. Set a goal. Now, coming out of the store, you need to be situationally aware. Again, you should, even if you don't walk your whole car, let's say you got 4 or 5 bags, go to your trunk, make sure that you're looking around as you walk to your car, make sure nobody's going to pop out. That's why you park parking spots away. If you're right next to to another vehicle and there's somebody laying down in the back of that minivan or that SUV, they can pop out really quick before you know what's going on. If you're 2-3 spots away, you at least have a tiny fraction, you have a second and a half to visually see that there's movement and to react. I'd rather take that second and a half versus zero point 0.1 seconds, okay? So make sure you strategically park, be situationally aware. Now, while you're doing that and you go, okay, everything looks good, when you get to your trunk, here's the perfect opportunity to look down the passenger side, look at your tires, look at everything. Everything looks okay. Put your items in the trunk, make sure you're situationally aware. And then as you close your trunk, take a peek down your driver's side, tires, glass, make sure everything's good. No, nothing's stuck to it, anything like that. Put your cart back. That gives you a second thing to make sure that you're good all the way around as you approach your vehicle to get into, leave the premises. Now, you want to make sure, though, that you are covered as you go, okay? So you want to make sure that if anything looks out of place, you have something to do, okay? So you don't want to have this, well, I did everything you said. I checked my vehicle, I strategically parked, I did all this. If something feels off, you need to have a plan for that. Okay, as you walk to your vehicle and you see movement and somebody's kind of like peeking over and something just feels wrong, you need to have a plan. What am I going to do? Am I going to turn around? Am I going to just walk past my car? Am I going to get on the phone? Am I going to, what are you going to do? And that's for you. Okay, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do because everybody's situation is different. War game it out. Figure out what is best going to work for you. And then you got to do all of your stuff as you go home. Now, things go different depending on where you're going to go. This was just out to the store. What happens if we're going to go over to a friend's house? Okay. Have you been there before? Do you know the neighborhood? Do you know the exits? You come in this way and you always, make a loop in their driveway and go back out the same way. What happens if you can't get out that way? Do you know how to turn the other way? Where does that street lead to? What happens if you got to go by foot? Is there a bunch of fences, pools, dogs, anything along those lines? Do you know how to get to somewhere that you know how to get to on foot, in your car? There's a bunch of this that goes into it, okay? So I just want to get you guys thinking. Plus, I wanted to make this a short video, and I see right here, you can't see, but I can. The little timer, it's going a little bit longer than I wanted it to. But that goes into everything. So that goes into not only what we just talked about, but that goes into your attire. Look, if you got to dress up and wear high heels or dress, shoes or whatever, I mean, that's the job you pick. That's fine. It is. Chances are you may never experience an SHTF situation. But maybe if you can, pack some shoes. If you're a female, do you have a purse or some sort of bag or something that you can slip some comfortable shoes in? For men, I know it might be a little harder, but can you put it at a locker or a desk drawer at work? At least maybe you can put them in your car or something. But do you have everything that you need? Especially when it's cold out. We're talking about wintertime here. If you're in a thin pair of dress pants and all of a sudden you got to take and book it when it's 10 degrees and snowy outside, how far do you think you're going to get before your legs freeze? Okay. It's stuff to think about. I myself, I'm lucky enough that I have a desk and a locker at work. I have supplies in all of it. Okay. Not going to tell you what it is, but I have backup supplies just in case. And I hope I never have to use it. Uh, but it goes into your maintenance of your car. You have at least a half a tank of gas or more. When's the last time you changed your windshield wipers? When's the last time you changed your headlights? Check your tire pressure, things like that. Are you confident that if you are out, friend's house, party, this, that, whatever, that you can bolt to your car, turn the key, you are confident it's going to fire right up, and you are confident that if you put pedal to the metal, it's going to respond and do exactly what you want it to do? Or does it have a death shake, a little bit of a wobble? Does it squeal? Does it, crank real hard before it finally, goes over top of it? Does the windshield wipers streak, thus impeding your vision, making things arguably worse? All right, so just a couple of things to think about for you guys. Now, I know that we could probably go on for an hour on all this. This was just a video to get you to think, okay? And this was just a simple one of just leaving the house and going to the store. We didn't talk about anything like going to a football game or a graduation party. I don't know. On my metrics, I don't think I have anybody under the age of 18 in here. So, but if there's preppers that are kids, going to school, that poses a whole different set of problems. But there's a lot into this. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time for me. I wanted to get back and make some more prepping videos, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, welcome if you're new to the channel. If you are not new, you know all the fun things to do. Hit the like and all the little things down in the comments. That way it bumps the algorithm and we can get a little bit bigger as a channel because we are growing. So, all right, guys, stay tuned. More information to come. Say it with me now. Remember to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.